everybody, welcome back to Creative Chat Cafe. I am Zaf Zan.
Hello, I'm Sondra Firestein.
And we are your hosts at Creative Chat Cafe, a weekly online talk show where lifestyle entrepreneurs hang out to discuss ideas, share experiences, provide tips, guidance, resources, and inspiration that will help you achieve success. If you're first time joining us, take time out. You know, we're all busy folks, business people, entrepreneurs. Take time out, join us, and I have some hashtags here for you. If you're wondering if we do have a hashtag, yes, we do, of course. This is the 21st century, right? So everything has a hashtag. So let's get social. Our hashtag for this show is hashtag creating balance, but our standard hashtag for the show is hashtag CCC, time to hang out, and hashtag Creative Chat Cafe. So welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome.
I'm actually really excited. This episode is like right up my alley. This one, although I'm not a mompreneur, but we are today talking about how mompreneurs create balance and manage life's interruptions and how to succeed with all of that happening. So to have all of this make sense, we brought on a busy mompreneur. Her name is Crystal Horton. Her website is www.crystalhorton.com, and she's doing just that, finding a way to create balance and manage life's interruptions. So welcome, Crystal.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
We want to know who you are. We want to hear your life story. What's your background? What do you do?
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
My husband and I have 3 children, ages 8, 7, and 5. They are each about 17 months apart. So my husband works out of town, and the 5 of us have successfully learned how to maintain balance in our home and through entrepreneurship. So through this observation, my friends began to ask, so what is it that you're doing? How are you doing it? Can you help me create balance in my family and in my life? So with the help of my business coach, John Page Burton, and my entrepreneurial spirit, here I am, helping families go from aw shucks to woohoo! I am a family strategist coach that specializes in providing proven practical strategies to thrive rather than survive in today's fast-paced parenting world. My enlightening energetic strategies are designed to promote a greater sense of family life balance while also opening up deeper communication within the family unit.
Okay.
So I do this by teaching awareness of self, organization, and making health and wellness a priority.
Awesome. Is this your first business, or how did you get started on this entrepreneurial journey?
Okay, entrepreneurial journey. I was on the golf team in high school, and that was
Did you say golf? Like
yes.
Hit a stick kind of golf?
Yes, that was my passion. I loved it. Have you golfed? Have either of you golfed?
I go to the driving range periodically. I enjoy the driving range.
Awesome.
I don't aim for the little hole in the ground. I just like to whack.
I can't use the golf stick to save my life, so
no.
you both are much better than I am.
Oh, it's fun. It's a blast. So I was searching for a way to earn money so that I can keep golfing on the weekends. I know it sounds funny, but I was hooked. Yeah. And so in high school there was like this job opportunity board to where there was an individual from an insurance agent searching for a cold caller. And I signed up. Why not? You know, it's gonna pay me to golf.
Yeah.
So then I started cold calling at the age of 18, and at the age of 16, and then when I graduated at 18, I became the youngest insurance agent within the agency.
Wow.
So that was the opportunity of a lifetime that sparked my interest in entrepreneurship. That's kind of where it started. And then as my husband and I began a family, I learned to marry the two my entrepreneurship spirit in my family life, and so here I am as a family strategist, providing for my family, but also being there for them as often as we need to be.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. You're working around this concept of balance and bringing balance to everyday families. How is it that you define balance, and what's been the biggest challenge you faced in creating that balance for yourself?
Okay, great questions. A few years ago, I was frustrated with myself. I was frazzled with the kids. We had chaos everywhere within our environment. Friends stopped inviting us to barbecues. We stopped going to birthday parties because it was just, we brought chaos with us, right? So I was fed up, and I said, you know, I'm going to figure out what this balance thing is all about. Yeah. So that created my journey. When I would think of balance, or I would hear the word balance, I would think of this peaceful yoga instructor sitting in this rainforest with no bugs or diseases, of course, on a pillow of leaves, meditating, deep, rhythmic breaths, and no interruptions. And so when I realized that yoga instructor fantasy is far from my reality, that's when I began to discover and experience balance. I learned that balance is a word that I get to define. It's my choice.
Right.
And yeah, so for me, maintaining and creating balance is through preparation and staying connected to my environment. For me, a peaceful, balanced mindset is the kids running around, playing, giggling, loud noises, creating a brilliant mosaic. That is balance to me. And then, I discovered through this journey that the key to finding balance lies in my ability to make decisions.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah. So what are the challenges you face with this?
Oh, challenges, yes. Challenges.
She's like, no, I got no challenges.
Yeah, don't worry. Well, the more I become transparent with myself, the more I realize and I experience balance. But the challenge is recognizing transparency within myself. At times, I don't see that. So that is a challenge.
Sondra, I know. So to all our folks watching the show today, if you're looking here, we're talking about the topic for the show today is how mompreneurs like Crystal create balance and manage life's interruptions to succeed. When we talk about interruptions, right? Especially living in such a social media driven kind of world, I'm sure Crystal will share with us a little bit of her story and also all her interruptions and how she manages them. But like Sondra, like between you and I, we don't have children, but we do have the issue of balance too, right? And especially for you that as in the concierge service, you work with clients who are trying to find the balance. My question to you, what about you yourself? Now, how do you define your own balance?
Yeah, so I have my mug. We will always come back to this mug. Be where you are. So this is my motto. I agree 100% that everyone has different versions of balance. And actually, when you talk about work-life balance, it kind of ticks people off because it's not a real thing. We need to give up on that idea. I don't believe that. I think that there is balance for each of us, but we do get to choose what that balance is. Mm-hmm. So the reason I point out my mug, be where you are, is that I think that if you are in a balanced state, you are able to be present for whatever it is that you're dealing with. So if you're working in that moment, you're able to be there and you're able to focus on what it is you're trying to work on. If you're with your family, you're not distracted by all the other things you're supposed to be doing. You allow yourself to be there with your family. So it's this idea of kind of this not being pulled in a million directions against your will, but balance is knowing that wherever you are, it's where you're supposed to be, and you know that, and so you get to just kind of be there for it. And that's just the idea that I've been playing with, and I really think balance is kind of this ever-morphing concept of what it is. And different days I feel more balanced than others. I do yoga, and that actually does help me, because it's actually like a physical manifestation of how balanced I am. If I'm doing a pose that requires me to balance on one leg, and I'm not focused, and I'm falling over, I'm not balanced in that moment. So it's a good physical reminder of, okay, let's be here, because if I did concentrate, I should be able to balance on that one foot. So how can I help people like Crystal, mompreneurs? There's so much that comes up in our lives that has to get done. Life pulls us in a million directions, whether you have children or not. And, you know, Zeph, you and I don't have children, but we're still very, very busy. Where do kids even fit in? It's amazing that it works for people. So what I offer is to pick up some of the load, some of the stuff that needs to get done, but not necessarily by you, so that when you are working on building your business, you're not thinking of all the million to-dos that you need to take care of. When you are with your children, you're not thinking of, oh, I really should be taking them to the grocery store or whatever. I mean, the perfect example that I always use, a lot of when I come across prospective clients that have kids, they go, oh, great, you can take my kid to soccer practice. And I go, no, you should be there with your kid at their soccer practice. I'll take care of whatever would keep you from being there. Were you going to go to Costco in that time? Why don't you hang out with your kids? I'll go to Costco for you. And so it allows my clients to say, oh, wow, all I have to do is sit here and watch my kid play? Cool. And so that's my contribution to helping people know that it's okay to just be there and chill out. You don't always have to be working all the time.
But, you know, that's a great point, and because I think that's awesome that what you do for, you know, not only other people, and you can also be specific about, you know, helping mompreneurs. But let me ask you this, Crystal, because being a family strategist, we talk about moms trying to balance their life, doing the juggling act. You know, they're not jugglers, but they try to so hard, you know. But do you feel, because I know this is for many moms is true, but in your case, do you feel that in the beginning, when trying to find that balance, do you feel like if you let go, like you're letting go too much and you're afraid, that fear of delegation, you know, and then that will actually hold you back from finding the balance? Do you feel like when you work with your clients, you hear that a lot?
Yes, I do. I'd say
it's a control issue, really, right?
Yeah, it's a control. Well, you know, when you become a mom, you've got all these different hormones going on, and you become a mom there in protective mode of your child. So through that, it's I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to make sure these are in place. And so, so with that, the mom takes on so much without even recognizing what's happening in the process.
Right. And that's the more reason why people should be getting, you know, help, especially from you know, businesses like you, Sondra, you know, because I think moms don't think about delegating sometimes because they are so used to taking it all in and doing it by themselves.
It's a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge I'm faced with, because a lot of the times the people that are most well suited for the service I offered, they'll never be able to relinquish that control and go for it. So they're kind of in this negative cycle of always being buried in to-dos.
Yes. But
if they were able to just say, you know what, I don't actually have to do that myself, and you might actually be better at doing this because that's the one task you have to take care of. You know, it takes work to get people to know that it's okay to let other people do things, and that's why I don't offer to take your kid to soccer practice, because that's your role. That's where you should be. But the one, you know, standing in line at the store, you don't have to do that. That's not the best use of your time, and that's not why you had children, was to just drop them off places. And
that's true.
You know?
So true. Very true. Yeah. So true.
So what about you, Zeph? You have a lot on your plate, too. How do you create the balance in such a noisy world? You're super involved with social media. That is a full-time job.
Yes, it is.
What's your trick?
It's a great question, and when I tell people, well, I don't have children, but you know, my husband and also my business, they're actually my children by default.
Right.
You know, I mean, hello, we all, for some reason they are. So what I've learned to do is, you know, in the beginning, I feel like I could relate to the moms out there. We were talking about moms, you know, not realizing that they can get help, right? The same thing with me in the beginning. I didn't know how to shut off, you know, I didn't know how to wind down. And I've had to learn that because, like I said, you know, husband and business are children by default in my case, right?
Yeah.
So I've had to learn how to find balance and to figure out ways what would really help me shut off and kind of balance that work and life kind of thing. So one of the things, it may not be a big deal for some of you folks out there, but what I've found to have worked for me, my case, in creating that balance, because sometimes people keep telling me, you all work, you know, you never play. So trying to calm myself down, believe it or not, I actually use movies to kind of wind down and shut off, because y'all folks out there know that I move at 200 miles per hour, right? So that's very common for me. So I've had to kind of figure out ways how to shut off, wind down. What I've learned is trying to do other things. I could be driving. I think I'm, you know, heading to the beach, but somebody who really knows me very well, and they'll look at my face and go like, "You look like you're driving, but you're really not. You know, you have your mind going at 200 miles per hour." I say, So I've had to find ways that will work for me so that I can create that balance and be a little bit more less stressful. So one of the ways I did was, you know, let me see if I watch a movie, you know, I take my focus away from work or managing other stuff in my personal life. See if that works. So actually, it did work for me, because what happens is when I watch a movie, because you have to focus, right? Because otherwise you won't understand what that movie is all about. So I found that one of the better ways for me to really shut off, wind down, and balance it all out, just so that I can get a little bit more rest, mind-wise, is to kind of watch movies and get into it, and then I really, really, you know, de-stress, and that helps me to kind of create that energize the bunny, 200 miles per hour, go, 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 go kind of thing, right? And then here's a way for me, because I don't drink alcohol, because if I do, then it probably will be a great glass of wine, right? But for me, it's my glass of wine is really movies. So that is one of the things that I've learned. For some of you folks, I don't know what it is, but you just have to kind of discover it by yourself. I mean, do you feel that way, ladies?
Yeah. Well, so one of the things that I think is really one of the things that I've noticed, and I feel like, Crystal, this is something that you can attest to as well, is that when I talk to moms, a lot of times it's about, you know, making sure everything is done, making sure the kids are happy, making sure the husband is happy, or whatever. I also really work with my moms to let them know that it's okay to prioritize themselves in those down moments, and that it is okay every day to give yourself an hour to just focus on you. Yeah. And that's a really hard thing a lot of women struggle with, I think, and without children, it can be hard to just allow ourselves to focus on us. But moms are such giving creatures that they forget that they have to give to themselves as well.
Yes.
Have you found that, Crystal?
Yes, I completely agree with that. Give. But not only that, it's giving ourselves as moms the okay to ask for help, and be okay that people are going to help, so that we have more time for ourselves.
Exactly.
To do what we enjoy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's awesome. True. So, folks, just a quick shout out. If you're watching this show for the first time, you don't know what it is, so I'm going to share with you our information. You're watching Creative Chat Cafe, a weekly online business talk show where lifestyle entrepreneurs hang out to discuss ideas, share experiences, provide tips, guidance, resources, and inspiration that will help you achieve success. And today's episode, we're talking to Crystal Horton as our guest on this episode, and with my sidekick right here, SONDRA Fayez. scene on a topic most of you out there, mompreneurs, know so well, is how mompreneurs create balance and manage life's interruptions to succeed, especially in a social media-driven world, right? And our hashtag for the show, if you're new to the show, our hashtag is hashtag CCC Time to Hang Out and hashtag Creative Chat Cafe. You can tweet us at C Chat Cafe, and the special hashtag for this episode is creating balance, because we are talking about balance, right? And it's so awesome talking to Crystal, who is a family strategist. Even though, you know, I'm not a mom, I'm relating to the topic very well, because we all need to create some sort of balance, right, ladies?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So I do have a question for Crystal. As a mompreneur who has a lot to do, a lot of balancing acts going on between business and managing a household, how do you describe your business goals to your family?
Okay. In the
That's
world,
a great question.
Yeah. Let's see, how am I going to put the two together? In the world of entrepreneurship, we thrive on vision boards. Would you ladies agree?
Yes.
We thrive on vision boards. So I took that idea and I brought it into my home, and we created a family vision board.
Oh, cool.
So we took a little bit of a different approach with this.
Yeah.
More of, let's cut out, let's draw, let's color the things that we enjoy doing as a family. So this would consist of like pizza nights, or playing Fireball, which is a game that my husband and the kids created, playing Fireball in the backyard.
That's awesome.
We cut out things like places we wanted to go or had in mind for road trips, or even road trips that we had already experienced as an adventure. There's bike rides, memberships at the local rec center, those type of things.
Cool.
So once we cut them all out, just like the vision board, we pasted them onto our board, and this helped to give a visualization to the kids and an explanation of why my husband and I work. This is why we do the things that we do, so that when they had misunderstandings of why they can't go to meetings with me or meetings with their dad, we would refer back to the vision board.
Yeah.
So that gave them the grasp of goal planning, which then I was able to introduce why and what my goals are.
You know, I really like that, because I think there's so much more to that that's going to stick with them, right? That, like, it gives them something to hang on to now. It sounds like, how old are your kids again? What did you say?
5, 7, and 8.
Okay.
Only three?
They're at the age where they're, you know, they can...
That's one of them.
That's one of them, sorry.
They're at the age where they can, like, think for themselves and kind of grasp concepts, right? And so they're seeing right away that you're being brought into it. I mean, that's one of the things that I think so many kids are left out of, is why mom and dad work, right? They just know that they do, and they know that it's about money, and that money buys stuff. But they don't necessarily know that it's really for them in this, like, bigger way, and that you're also showing them that it's okay to have your goals be about more than just making enough money to make ends meet, right? That it's really like, let's do this together. And so I can only imagine that your kids are, like, cheering you on, saying, yeah, I want pizza night. And then you're like, okay, I'll go to that meeting.
Yeah, it does. It creates a great sense of teamwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great way to kind of get the kids involved and think for themselves, you know. So, you know, we're talking about interruptions, especially in such a social media-driven world. You and I know, Crystal, you know, being online, being in social media is part of how we do business today, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like wondering, and I would love to hear your tips for some of our viewers out there who are probably mompreneurs just like you, busy, juggling like Energizer bunnies, going north, south, east, west, right? So have you ever found yourself like bribing your kids so that you can get through a phone conversation without being interrupted? Because I've seen some of my friends, they go like, you know, no, see, I'm on the phone, go away, and here's a chocolate, I'll bring it to the park as soon as I'm done. Do you find yourself doing that?
Yeah, yes, I have. Like, right now, I probably should have bribed my son who interrupted her. But no, there's 5 things that I've learned that have really helped minimize interruptions, but also understand to accept that it's not always going to be perfect. Like, for example, my son asking for some help today. But one of the tips is creating a habit. So an example of creating a habit is just like teaching kids to take a nap at the same time every day, which helps create downtime for the mom and the child. Schedule phone appointments that are important at the same time every day. So this teaches the child, okay, it's mommy's time to make important phone calls. And so they learn to entertain themselves in that realm of things. Another thing is I would suggest to be prepared, whether it's the night before, a week before if you have. Be prepared by putting your notes together, putting together a pen and paper, and then also practicing the thought of the things that you're going to talk about, writing down the things that you want to discuss, so that when it's time for the phone call, you're not distracted with, oh, I wonder if my son's going to be asking for milk, you know, or I forgot to pull off his toy from the top shelf that he's going to be asking for. So with that, by being prepared, it allows you to naturally calm those nerves down and also to be present in the phone call, in the conversation. Another thing is we have a 15-minute rule. So 15 minutes before the phone call, I will play with my children. Anything that they choose. They will have my undivided attention without any interruptions at all. And we'll play whatever they want, whether it's coloring, even riding bikes, or playing with Legos. Those type of things helps the kid know that they play a significant role in our business. Because really, it's not my business, it's our business.
Right.
And so when that 15 minutes is up, I'll let them know it's time for me to make an important phone call, and I'll be back as soon as I finish. So that instead of them checking on me to see when I'm done with my call, they know I'm coming back after the call.
That's a great point. Create that expectation. Yeah.
Yes, creating that.
You really do live what you're telling people, or do you? I mean, every family is going to be different, right?
Yeah.
So do you find that there are kind of like general rules that work for most families, or does it have to be really individually catered for each dynamic?
Well, I mean, if you have a certain routine in the household, then of course those may be different, a little different than what the tips I'm providing. Okay. So you can work and critique that into what works for your family as well. And yeah, sometimes interruptions are going to happen, but accepting and knowing that you've minimized the majority of them will help calm that that nervousness for the important call.
So it's interesting because I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm thinking I can apply it to my own boyfriend.
Yeah.
My child. Maybe I can hang out with him for like 15 minutes before I have to record Creative Chat Cafe, so that he's not over there being like, when are you going to be done?
Well, you never know. You might like playing with Legos, so that might work out.
I'll cook you potatoes when I'm done, okay?
Cooking nice.
This is all true, by the way. Like,
Such a great point.
Right before I started recording, he's like, because it's still like kind of breakfasty time around here. He's like, did you make potatoes? I was like, no, I didn't have time. I have to record the show. Oh, I really like potatoes.
Did I say earlier just now I don't have kids, but by default, my husband and my business are my kids, right? Hello? So that's so true. But, we're actually close to the end, and I think we should kind of wrap up a little bit. Was there any other thing other than that last few points you were making, Crystal?
Yeah, 2 more quick points is communicate. Communicate with your children. What's going to happen? I have an important phone call coming up. Do you know what an interruption is? And then give an example. Like last week when you asked for milk and I was on the phone, that's an interruption. So, kind of give an example so they understand what it means. Okay. And then lastly, I cannot stress enough, please create a family vision board put it in a high-profile location, and refer to it as often as possible when questions arise.
Cool.
I love that vision board. I'm going to give you a dong for that.
I do have a quick question about the vision board. At what point did you find, at what age did you find your kids started to understand the vision board?
I'd say from 5 and up.
Okay.
I did start when the kids were 3, and they just love the concept of cutting and gluing. But just like I went back and said creating the habit of the routine, that helped create the understanding. So when they were 5 and they grasped words a little more, it helped a lot.
Wow. Those are great points. Thank you. Oh my God, those are super awesome points. I think my favorite is really that communication, because I think many parents or many moms think that, you know, if they say too much, the kids will get bored or whatever. But, you know, it's that repetition and the communication. You have to keep on telling them. And just like us, you know, sometimes I'm like, hello, I feel like sometimes I'm dyslexic, so you just have to tell me, keep on telling me, right? When I was in school, I really thought, why don't my teachers tell me this 10 times? My husband hates it when I say 10 times to him, like repeatedly. He goes like, I'm like, listen, science has proven that by repetition you'll remember it. You know?
Well, you might need to like change the language different times because it makes sense to you, and maybe to one kid the way you're phrasing it might not make sense to the other 2 or something.
Yes, that's
so you need to find new ways to like package the concept, and that's the same. That's the same with adults.
Yeah.
I mean, we are just kids.
I know. So, ladies, I mean, this is a lot of information. I mean, if we were to talk about this, a lot of great points that we can really share. But I think, Crystal, you made 5 great points there. You know, I were to sum it up, is create a habit, be prepared, 15-minute rule, communicate, and the family vision board. Thank you so much for that. You know, that's all the great points right there. Perhaps we can have everybody share their your information so that our guests can, you know, I'm sorry, not our guests, our audience out there can get your info should they want to contact you. Crystal, would you please go ahead and share your information, how they can get in touch with you?
Sure, yes. You can find me at crystalhorton.com. I have a book that will be published this summer, so please go to the website, join my mailing list, and you can find out additional updates about that.
Yay! Awesome. Sondra.
Yeah, so I'm Sondra Firestein. I'm the owner of Pursuit of Seattle. I offer personal concierge services both in person and virtually. So if you feel like you're just carrying too much of a load, let's talk. I'll help you just lift that weight. If you want to get in touch with me personally, probably one of the best ways is to hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, @SeattleSondra. And lastly, if you're hanging out with your family and you all of a sudden notice, wow, this is awesome, I'm having a really great time, snap a photo like you probably are anyways, and add the hashtag HappySeekers. I'm trying to just collect a huge collection of people just doing things that make them really happy. So come be a part of that community.
Yay! I love happy people. So for some of you folks who are probably just, you know, tuning in this to the show for the first time and you want to keep on watching, you can go to our website, www.entrepreneurs.soar.com, and there's a tab there, web shows, and a specific tab for Creative Chat Cafe. You can watch all the past episodes there, and every first show of the month is actually a live broadcast of 60 minutes live broadcast. And I just want to share a little bit of our social information. Our Facebook information, as you can see, I might have a little delay here, but it's our Facebook page is Creative Chat Cafe on Facebook, and also Google Plus Community, not a Google Plus page, but a Google Plus Community is Creative Chat Cafe, because we try to post post-show information or discussions that we did not discuss in the show. Here's our Twitter, which is @CChatCafe, and you can also tweet us with those hashtags, hashtag Creative Chat Cafe. For all of you folks who love YouTube and want to watch past episodes of Season 1 or catch up with Season 2, you can go to Entrepreneurs at Soar's YouTube page, because it is the show is produced by Entrepreneurs at Soar. And again, here's our hashtag information, hashtag CCC Time to Hang Out, hashtag Creative Chat Cafe, and you can tweet us @CChatCafe. Folks, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been such a great show. I just want to say thank you to Crystal for, joining us today, taking time out of your busy mom schedule to be here with us. And of course, to my sidekick, super sidekick, Sondra Feinstein, who's always great. Thank you, Sondra.
Thank you, Sondra.
And folks, we'll see you at the next episode of Creative Chat Cafe. Let's raise our marks daily. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.